IVM.
Hello and welcome back with yet another episode of Heal and Hearty, your show that helps you reduce your risk of diseases and helps you lead the best quality of life you can. I'm your host and health coach, Rachna Chhachhi, not Chachi, cancer nutrition coach and nutritional therapist, and I treat lifestyle diseases, cancer and autoimmune conditions across 24 countries. You know, most often I get cases that are in late stages of diseases, given up by doctors, or those who have been chronically ill and are tired of the low quality of life they are leading. I have to work really hard to push them, motivate them, emotionally and physically cleanse them, so that I can pull them out with all my might and get them to be healthy, energetic, and clinically reversed diagnostic reports. But one day, I got a call from Manavi Pathak, senior HR leader, who really didn't have a chronic health condition. And then, just like that, her husband, Navaneel Kar, head of sales at Tata Global Beverages, also wanted to sign up with me, even though he did not have, touchwood, any heart condition, type 2 diabetes, or anything else that was hindering his quality of life. They were and are a working couple in senior management in corporate India with small children who just woke up one day and decided that they wanted to be healthy. And they contacted me because that was a priority for them. So what was their trigger point to come to me? I can promise you I'm a very difficult coach. If you ever think of signing up with me, you will have to throw away whatever anybody has ever told you about how to lead a healthy life. Because my focus is to get you to reverse your issues. I don't settle for less. On top of that, once you have signed up with me, I get after you to follow my charts 110% and not 99%. Manavi and Navaneel knew that. So what happened that they still decided to completely change their lifestyle in the absence of disease? Let's find out just after this break. Go grab your green tea. Don't forget to keep it covered for 5 minutes at least before you sip on it. And I will catch you on the other side.
Hey everybody, welcome to another awesome week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you are not following us on social media, why the hell aren't you? It's about time that you did. We're IVM Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We also got some really great news about Paisa Vaisa. Anupam Gupta, our host, we couldn't be prouder of him. His show has won the award for the best business podcast at the Asia Podcast Summit. Couldn't be happier, couldn't be prouder. Definitely check it out if you haven't heard it. It is an award-winning podcast now officially. I also would like to thank our sponsors this week, Storytel and Intel. Sponsors make this possible, so please support our sponsors, tweet at them, tell them that you're happy that they're sponsoring the podcasting space. We're excited to announce our new show, Storytellers and Story Sellers, hosted by Vineet Kanabar. Every episode, he talks to two guests, one from the creative side and one from the business side of the entertainment industry. This week, Vineet is joined by Executive Creative Director of TVF and storyteller Saurabh Khanna, and Chief Strategy Officer OML and story seller Tarun Tripathi. Together, they break down what goes into making a branded web series. Tune into new episodes every Thursday. On Cyrus Says, Cyrus is joined by Utsav Memoria. Utsav is the host of our new show and one of my favorites on the network, Postcards from Nowhere. He and Cyrus have a really interesting conversation about Utsav's fandom of Cyrus. Also, they talk a lot about travel and Utsav's recent marriage. On The Seen and the Unseen, Amit is joined by author Parvati Sharma. They talk about her book, Jahangir, an intimate portrait of a great Mughal. On Paisa Vaisa this week, Anupam is joined by Amit Kumar Gupta, Fund Manager PMS Adroit Financial Services. He talks about financial services and the scuttlebutt method of stock research. The Habit Coach completes 150 episodes on Friday. Make sure you tune in to celebrate this milestone with Ashton as he talks about bravery and how to use it in your everyday life. On Simplified, Naren and Shrika break down what behavioral addiction is and how someone suffering from it can be helped. On Golgappa, Trupti is joined by Manashri Soman. She is visually impaired who, despite these crippling odds, completed her secondary education and won the prestigious Balashri Award from President Abdul Kalam. On Feeding 10 Billion, Ramya and Varun are joined by Michelle Adelman. Founder of GoFresh in Botswana, she is harnessing the power of technology with sustainable business models to find innovative solutions to food security in Africa. On Boundless, Natasha reads poetry about the struggles she faced as she entered her 30s and long-distance relationships. On The Origin of Things, Chuck narrates a fascinating story about an adventurous young man whose life revolved around music and road trips. And with that, let's get you on with your show.
Welcome back with me on Heal and Hearty, and we have Navaneel Kar and Manavi Pathak, this wonder couple in senior management in corporate India who decided to change their lifestyle for a better one without the scare of a chronic disease. Welcome, Manvi.
Yeah, hi Rachna.
Hi, Navaneel.
Hi Rachna. Wonderful to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. So I'm still curious. You've been together with me for a few months now, but it's an aberration. You guys are an aberration for me. What happened?
Okay, so I have been a wellness and a good physical and mental health enthusiast all my life. I read about you in a magazine and I got interested in knowing more about you. And I was delighted to find you on Instagram. And I found your approach to be very simple, straightforward and relatable. And the workshop that you had done in the month of April, Health Over Hospital event, that was a great forum where you spoke about your work and you shared the success stories of a lot of your patients.
Right.
So the stories of people with various elements and the reversal made me realize that how important it is, the diet and the lifestyle, if one follows few key mantras, and good health can be accessible to everyone.
That's so true.
And after the workshop, I got in touch with you and I have benefited greatly from this association.
Thank you, Manvi. So your trigger point was actually success stories of people up on stage who actually went through a really serious journey of suffering. And did that somewhere make you feel, I don't want to go through this?
Yes, it actually made me feel I don't want to go through this, and whatever problems that I was currently having, which was again, something which was very lifestyle related, I felt that all that could be reversed if I started paying attention to minor things.
So what was the issue?
I had migraine issues. I had menstrual cramps. I had thyroid, weight gain, those typical issues.
Yes, absolutely. And to listeners and friends, all the issues that Manvi is talking about are hormonal disruptions because of her endocrine system not functioning properly. And migraines are extremely common symptoms. So is anxiety, so is bloating and acidity, stomach issues, along with the hormonal issues that women face. A lot of women end up thinking that this is extremely common and, they don't need treatment for it. But Manvi decided to come to me and take nutritional and holistic treatment. So I understand that you had physical symptoms. How did you convince your husband?
Well, my husband has been a person who has always looked into physical fitness as a very integral part of his lifestyle. He's regular into yoga and other physical activities, but this was your approach I found to be very different from the typical dietitian kind of a thing which we had actually used earlier. So I wanted to introduce him to something which I had seen a lot of people talking highly of your approach, and I wanted him to try it out.
Okay, so Navaneel, what convinced you from your health issue perspective?
Right. So I think Manvi played a key role in convincing me in terms of, looking you up. And I remember visiting your website. And see, both of us, just to give some background, we've always been health conscious. And, we've always realized that it's important to be healthy, to lead an active lifestyle. And as we both approached middle age, with our kind of work and, 24/7 job, which is high on stress, slowly things started unraveling. And, they may not have manifested in the form of any major ailments or diseases, but, we could see some of the signs, those aches and pains, those small little things where you felt that, okay, maybe your system is not as what it was earlier, right? And that continued over a period of time. And we knew about diet, we knew about the importance of exercise.
Right.
But what we found unique, in terms of your approach, and as we went along, it reaffirmed our confidence, was that, it broke a lot of myths that we had about health and about wellness, about good food. For instance, one of the things I had realized after experimenting with hundreds of diets was that I can't lose weight. And I remember when I met you in that cafe for the first time, and you said weight loss will be incidental. It's not my objective.
Yes.
So I was really shocked. I said, wow, this is something very different. Because I had thought that, weight loss, and I in fact rationalized with myself that there are some body types where weight loss doesn't happen, and probably I am one of them.
Right.
So,
Yes. I remember you just staring at me when I said, "Oh, it's going to happen," and I just brushed it aside. And for you, that was this big thing hanging on your head.
Yeah. So I think one more thing, which again about busting of myths, because I feel that a lot of people of my age, they read about diet and health, and there's a lot of information out there,
Yes.
But then I also feel a lot of it is half knowledge, really not backed by facts. And we believe so many different things. For instance, one common belief is you keep drinking green tea, you keep losing weight.
Oh, yes.
So you have your parathas and dollops of butter and ghee in the morning, and then you top it up with a green tea, and you've kind of neutralized everything, right?
Absolutely. You're so right. There are so many people who come to me and say, now we've started drinking green tea and we go to the gym. So we are healthy, we can eat whatever we feel like.
Yeah.
That is such a huge myth. So it's great. So one is the step of, saying, okay, I am going to start this commitment towards a healthier lifestyle. The second is actually physically reading my charts, which most people fall off their chair from. So did that happen to both of you?
So let me take that first. And just to add one more point to your previous question.
Yeah.
See, what we were really looking for, when we sought you out was, see, we've tried so many things. We wanted a very scientific and a focused and a disciplined approach to holistic, health, rather than just looking at losing 5 kilos in 3 months and then, getting back to it in the next 3 months.
Right.
That was our approach. And we found in your entire, the way your discipline and the way you do it, we found that, that scientific fact-based approach, the discipline which was required to get it done, So that is what we found unique. And I think it's slowly now getting into our system and getting institutionalized in our lifestyle. So I think that is...
Thank you so much for this. Yes, it's very difficult to argue with science and facts and a structure. So it makes my life also easier when I use that approach with almost everybody.
Right. Yeah. And coming back to your charts, just to answer that, of course, when you send those charts, first of all, half the supplements, the long list of nutritional supplements and medicines. So, we hadn't even heard of half of them, and we thought that we knew a lot about health. Okay, and so many of my favorite foods went missing from the chart, so I was heartbroken. Okay, so for instance, I always used to feel that, dal is like something I can have kilos and kilos of, right? And you put me off dal. Then I love dairy and curd, and curd was completely a no-no.
Yes.
Right, but along with that, I also got some perks because you were the first person I, met who told me, rice is fine. I said, what? Rice is fine? I mean, come on, everybody is telling me if you have one spoon of rice, you're killing somebody, as far as diet is concerned.
Yeah. And you ate rice and lost weight.
Yeah, in the first 15 days, you told me eat only rice. And, I said, hello, I mean, is this right? There's something wrong in this entire thing. But then ultimately, I lost weight,
Yes.
And that was the great part about it.
Right. What about you, Manvi? What was your reaction?
Yeah, no, I felt that, it was very good. In fact, like what Navaneel said, that there were a lot of new supplements and, vitamins and all, which I had actually not heard about, which was introduced by you. And in fact, when I Googled it and read about it, I was like, wow. And, there's so much there's so many things that we don't know. And I, of course, sticking to it was difficult because initially I remember, I used to forget taking it. And in fact, I always I'd taken out a printout of, the entire chart that you had sent, 2 copies of it. One was with me in the purse always,
right,
and one was at home. So that, I always had to see and refer to that so that, I don't miss out anything. And it was actually just, I think with practice, 1 or 2 days it took to get to adapt myself to the new plan, and I was able to do that. It was easily done.
Yeah, that was wonderful because normally people who start on these charts take about 10 days. Mm-hmm. So both of you adapted pretty quickly, and I guess what Navaneel was talking about earlier, the scientific approach helped convince you guys a little better. But I'm also curious to know, and I'm sure our listener friends also want to know, you're a working couple, a middle-aged working couple with extremely heavy work schedules. You're a mother of 2 small kids, lovely twins who Navaneel just pointed out before the podcast started that they've become terrors now.
Yeah.
So within these constraints, how did you manage to organize breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, supplements, exercise, pranayam, everything?
So let me take that. I think, the first step to that was there was a strong commitment required from our side that we will try and do it right, and I think that's important. It was not just about, doing one thing. It was about doing many things together at the same time.
Yes.
And they all fall in place. And I remember you telling me that once, that, everything is important. Even that 1 hour later medicine taking and, doing the pranayam at the right time, everything is important. So we actually took a lot of time to plan things. We got our entire support system involved, and, we have a big support system at home, which included, our, mother-in-law and my mother-in-law, and also the domestic help. And we had actually put up charts in the kitchen which told them that which day, what breakfast to be made,
Wonderful. So planning.
So planning was very critical. And one big piece of that was having the medicines, because we were very busy. So one challenge which I faced was that
supplements.
How do I have these supplements throughout the day?
Yeah.
Because it's something at 11 o'clock, something post lunch, and then, something later. So what I did was I actually went and bought these small, packets.
Okay.
Which these homeopaths use for giving medicines.
Yes.
And I bought some, I think 200, 300 of them. And I would actually make sets of that and carry them when I travel or when I go to the office.
Listeners, make note of this. This is a very, very important tip. You cannot hide behind the excuses of saying, I can't be healthy, I can't have my probiotics or anything else. Because here is somebody who is leading a team, who is in senior management in corporate India and has taken out time. He has used, and his wife Manavi, who is also a senior leader in corporate India, they have used their resourcefulness that they use at work and their planning skills and use them to plan their healthy day.
Yeah.
Continue, Navaneel. So what else? What else did you do? How did you fit in the exercise? And
Yeah. So exercise for me was comparatively easier because I was already quite active. So exercise happened. The one big challenge, and I feel that there are physical challenges and there are mental challenges,
yes,
right? And the mental ones are the most difficult ones to overcome. So one big mental block for me was that the food that Rachna has written down, is it going to be enough for me, or am I going to feel hungry? And one big myth was breakfast.
Yeah.
Because I always felt, and I read it somewhere that have breakfast like a king and dinner like a pauper or something
yes.
like that. So here the breakfast was actually like a pauper, from my earlier standards.
Yeah.
So I had that myth that, will this be enough? But then once I started having that food,
yeah.
I started slowly getting used to it. And the other big advantage and the big benefit which I felt was I started feeling very good inside. The food which was going in.
So explain good.
Yeah. So it's about the way I feel when I do yoga. Right. When I do yoga, that after effect lasts for at least an hour, hour and a half. I feel that I am, rejuvenated from the inside.
Wonderful.
So
wonderful.
that feeling of getting rejuvenated started having when I moved to this diet. And I started actually, in fact, I remember telling you once, and it's true that earlier, my pulse rates, I wear a tracker, so I know my pulse rates. Post my meals, my pulse used to be 90, 85, 90. And my resting is about 65 to 70. So I used to feel, I'm having khana. So because of that, my pulse rate goes up because digestion has to work.
Yeah.
When I shifted to your diet, my pulse rate came down by 10 points.
Yeah.
So even post my breakfast, my pulse would be 70. So I said, hello, the digestive system seems to be sleeping. But that's the kind of food that I was eating that was so good on the system.
It was anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
So the anti-inflammatory food naturally brings down the temperature of the body and the pulse rate and reduces your risk of hypertension and other lifestyle diseases. Yeah. That's what was happening.
Absolutely.
Great. Wonderful. What about you, Manavi?
So, I completely agree with Navaneel that it was the discipline and commitment which actually helped us, do all this very smoothly. And of course, you had to be very, very conscious because I was actually very, very clear that I want results and I'll give my 100% to this. So once if I give my 100%, only then this entire diet is going to show the result.
Right.
So I we actually had because we had planned and we were doing things in a very systematic manner. Things were, it actually was easy to follow. After a couple of days, we were able to do things very smoothly. And about the the effects, after a week only I was able to see the changes in my body. In fact I was sleeping better.
Okay.
So that was something that I realized. I also felt a bloating and all had actually come down significantly.
Okay.
So all that was again very reinforcing, because I was doing it and I was able to see the effects immediately. I wanted to continue and I wanted to stick to this new routine that I was following.
Great. So Manvi, you were not sleeping well again because of your hormonal disruptions, and a lot of women out there are struggling with sleep. They get 3 hours of sleep and then they wake up and they are tossing and turning, and just within a week of following a program which actually started pacifying your hormones, your sleep became better, which started repairing you from inside.
Yeah, and even bloating and all, even in my, a bit of puffiness and all I had on my face, that also had come down significantly.
Wonderful. So you feel that your journey has paid off in terms of being disciplined about it.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I feel that there's no miracle pill which anybody can give you. It is, you have to follow the instructions that is given to you, and you have to follow whatever is put down in the diet chart and the diet plan. You have to follow that 100%. Only then you can expect. And in fact, you write. There's a line also that you write that the result, if you cheat, you won't get that kind of.
Yes, if the input is compromised, then the output is going to be compromised.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for pointing this out, because a lot of people who initially start on any chart, they end up looking at it like a restaurant menu. I don't, rice doesn't work for me, or I have to eat this for 15 days at a stretch, I will get bored. So these are the things that I face usually, and I don't think boredom or anything else is of as much importance as your health and the reason that you have started taking this commitment on. So what specifically did you do? Like he said, Navaneel said about the pills and all. So did you also do things like get new tiffin boxes and plan on a Sunday, stock up? Give the listeners some tips so that it can help them organize themselves better.
No, the medicine sheets or whatever, that homeopathic bags that you had got, I was using them. It was actually very handy and very useful. And I am actually a pretty organized person in real life. So I was able to follow, the routine, and I was able to do things in a system. But what you need to understand is that you should not, even if there is something like a meeting or anything planned, you can always carry your food or carry your snack, whatever. And one thing more that Navaneel said, that the myth of that I will feel hungry, that was also very true in my case. I also felt, when I had looked at your chart, that this is going to be difficult and I might feel hungry, but never I felt hungry, and I think it was just sufficient. And I also felt that how much we put in food that is not required for our bodies.
Yes.
just to add on here, I think one of the biggest challenges personally for following your charts, for me, was this entire thing about having dinner by 8 p.m. And that was something which took a long time, to get adjusted. And initially when I said, look, this is draconian, come on, 8 o'clock, I come home by 9. For God's sake, give me a break. At 8 p.m. I start having my snacks, so that was a kind of thing. And, fast forward to 3 months later, and I remember there were meetings and I used to get food from home. I used to get my car to carry the dinner to my office, and I used to take a break, have my dinner, and then get into the meeting. So
you didn't have any hang-ups or comms about telling your colleagues that, guys, I need to stop for a bit to nourish myself and then get back to work.
Yeah. There's nothing more important than our well-being. and everything else can take a backseat as far as I'm concerned. In fact, after a while, when I started losing weight, people started asking me, what's happening, what are you doing, which diet are you following? I said, I'm not following any diet. I'm, hogging at rice and, whatever I love to eat. And it's allowed. So he says, what kind of a diet is this? We thought that diet means soup and, starving yourself.
Yeah.
So a lot of people asked me questions, and as I said, there's a lot of half information out there.
Yes.
People don't really know. People think, having chapatis is healthier. People think that all the wheat they can eat is great. So all those things are there, and slowly over a period of time, when we start doing it ourselves, then we realize that these are myths, that we were also believing in. So that's the way it happens.
Right. Now that both of you have actually understood and felt better with a healthier way of life, what is your message to senior working professionals? Because we are literally sitting on a time bomb of diseases. So what would you both individually like to give out?
Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, I feel that this change that we have made in our life and in our lifestyle in a very holistic way is a big investment for the future for us. And if we are to really, be successful in our careers, good health is a given. It's a hygiene. If you don't have good health, you can't do anything else, right?
Very well.
And this entire approach that only if I fall sick will I, do something to correct myself or to correct my, entire system is such a big myth that all of us suffer, and we always keep pushing it back till such time that there's a breaking point,
Yes.
So my message to my friends and, fellow colleagues who are out there is that don't wait for that breaking point to come. I think it's very important to preemptively look at yourself, start believing in your system, start listening to your system, and then start making those corrections over a period of time so that you live a much healthier lifestyle than you would normally live. So that is the investment. We do our investments in financial instruments, we do investments in mutual funds and FDs, and we feel it will help us in the future. All those FDs will be burnt in hospital bills if you don't invest in yourself.
Very well put, Navaneel. It's what when I do corporate senior management workshops, the concept of last man standing. So my workshop is also called Last Man Standing, where, like you rightly said, for a better future. So if you are in senior management and you want to have the lasting stamina to be there without collapsing with a health scare, you've got to make sure you have the stamina because of your good health.
Absolutely.
And you did that.
Yeah.
So we are already seeing you soaring with your new job.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Manvi, what about you? What is your message to especially working women who are struggling with similar issues as you, but are not giving it priority because of their home, kids, and work?
I completely agree with Navaneel, and I feel that prevention is better than cure. That is the most important thing. And if you start working on things from the beginning, and I'm sure a middle-aged person like me would have some of the other health issues which could be very much lifestyle related, and it could be migraine, it could be blood pressure, diabetes, anything. A lot of people, if they get their medical tests done regularly, they will definitely see that not all readings are fine. And what is it, you don't have to get scared with that, what to do and start popping up medicines, but start working on your lifestyle. It will give you a lot of energy to deal with your day-to-day life. You will have a lot of energy. You will have a lot of, good health to fulfill your dreams. And there is nothing like a good health, because if you don't have good health, none of your dreams are going to get fulfilled.
So well put. Manvi, energy is something that is depleting in women with hormonal issues. Chronic fatigue is extremely common. And the fact that you're feeling it on a daily basis and you've raised it as a point, women who are listening to us right now, if you're suffering from chronic fatigue and migraines, please go get your hormones checked. It's highly likely that they are fluctuating, and there is a very, very easy way to live your dreams, like Manvi just pointed out. Thank you so much, Navaneel and Manvi. It was wonderful having you guys, and so positive in terms of the message that you guys have given out to working professionals across the country, and I think across the world, whoever is listening to this podcast.
Thank you.
So that was Manvi and Navaneel, totally inspiring me and all of you as well, I'm sure. My friends, Don't wait for the time bomb of disease to strike you. By the time you hit your early 30s, your inflammation levels have begun to rise. And we all know that increased inflammation levels inside the body create an environment to welcome all kinds of lifestyle diseases and cancer. Just like Manavi and Navaneel did, you can take charge of not getting a disease and reversing minor health issues that you have been facing by just eating and living by the pillars of preventive health. So what are these pillars? Number 1, and this is something every single person listening to me is missing out on, I can guarantee. Always have 65% of your plate filled with vegetables and salad mixed with cold pressed oil. This could be nuts and seeds, extra virgin olive oil, or avocados, or even virgin flaxseed oil. Ideally, rotate these oils and have with your vegetables and fruits. Do you know this is the single most potent combination that can prevent and reverse the deadliest of diseases, including cancer? It also reduces pain levels, increases the natural probiotics in your gut, leading to higher immunity, and is a big mood uplifter. Yes, your moods are going to get better on a daily basis if both your meals have this combination. Point number 2, never ever skip your moderate exercise. Why do I say moderate exercise and not exercise alone? Because excessive exercise or no exercise both increase inflammation levels inside your body. And high inflammation levels, as we've already discussed, attract lifestyle diseases, autoimmune conditions, and cancer. Moderate exercise means some kind of continued exercise like walking, slow jogging, cycling, swimming for 45 to 60 minutes, 3 to 4 days in a week. Along with that, 2 days of pure, gentle, restorative yoga which strengthens your joints and releases stress. This combination is more than enough to fulfill the goals of reducing inflammation, reducing pain levels, increasing heart health, and preventing diseases. Number 3, never skip your sleep. In our quest for a better quality of life, we mess up our quality of life by skimping on sleep, which causes obesity, stress, high sugar levels, high risk of heart disease and type 2 diabetes while raising inflammation. So guys, 8 hours every day is the mantra. And finally, number 4, seriously reduce your stress levels. 50% of your stress levels are going to be reduced with the 65% vegetables and cold pressed oils combination that I have already told you about, along with the moderate exercises I have given. The other 50% can be reduced by just cognitively practicing gratitude. Can I give you a simple exercise for that? Come on, wherever you are, just stop, sit down, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths. Breathe in, slowly breathe out. Again, take a deep breath in, slowly exhale. Repeat. Breathe in deeply, breathe out slowly. Now imagine the one person in your life who you want to thank for sitting in front of you. They are smiling. Hold that person's hands in your hands with your eyes closed. Thank that person. Imagine them sitting and smiling at you. Thank them for all the reasons that you feel happy that they are part of your life. It could be because they love you unconditionally, because they care enough to ask you how your day was. It may just be because they left a deep positive impact on you. Go on, thank them. Take a deep breath in, say thank you, verbalize it, squeeze their hands and let them go. Slowly, keep inhaling deeply and exhaling slowly, and open your eyes. Are you feeling that little tug of happiness in your heart? I know I am. So go on. Now you know the 4 things that you have to do to prevent disease. Start doing them while I continue to thank all the people who have been there for me unconditionally. And I'll catch you next week, same time. Keep the questions coming, keep the love flowing, and don't forget to tell me who you said thank you to when I meet you next. Till then, deep breaths and loads of gratitude. This is your host, Rachna Chhachhi, signing off from Heal and Hearty.
The modern world is obsessed with food and agriculture. Everywhere you look, new and exciting technologies are bringing food innovation to your street market, your grocery store, your doorstep, and your plate. From our quest for the perfect food photos to our rediscovery of ancient grains. Quite simply, food has never been sexier. But guess what? The modern food system is broken. It's a major cause of climate change, antibiotic resistance, and global poverty. So how did we get here, and where are we going? Most importantly, how are we going to feed 10 billion people globally by the year 2050 through better, more sustainable means? I'm Varun Deshpande.
And I'm Ramya Ramurthy. And we work for the Good Food Institute, a global non-profit accelerating the transformation to a more healthy, sustainable, and just food system. The next food revolution is here. On Feeding 10 Billion, we're giving you the inside view. You can tune into us every Tuesday on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Hi, I'm Sarayu Natarajan.
And I'm Alok Prasanna Kumar.
And we are the hosts of the Ganatantra podcast.
On this podcast, we speak to academics, social scientists, journalists, and activists to find out what's actually going on in Indian politics.
On this podcast, we stay away from personality politics, intrigue, and gossip, and instead focus on the data, research, and analysis that drives all this.
So tune in to the Ganatantra podcast, where new episodes are out every Wednesday on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.